Something I have always found very interesting is how certain places can get on a tourist map just because they have something unique. Like this place, for example. We are in a town called Outtakes, and they are the self-proclaimed capital of the world of ostriches. So whenever we got here, the first thing we wanted to do is go to an ostrich farm. But that didn't turn out exactly the way we expected it to turn out.
We are Nick and Lens. For the last 5 years, we have been blogging and vlogging about nature's traveling. And now we embarked on an epic journey to experience naturism in every continent of the world. Subscribe to travel along with us. Right now, we are in Africa. It started out pretty good, and there was a guide and he was giving us some really nice information, didn't we?
Yeah, and a lot of fun facts. For example, like female ostriches are brown and the male ostriches are dark. There's a reason for that. Because they both take care of the eggs, and male ostriches do that at night when it's dark, so black is better camouflage, and the female ostriches do it during the day when brown is a better camouflage. And another really interesting thing, the fact that ostriches put their head in the ground, that's only in cartoons.
He's the ugliest chicken I ever saw. Now look what you've done.
And then the actual tour started and they showed us how they hatch the eggs. And then they took us to the ostriches and they showed us how to feed them. In different, sometimes funny ways. Okay. But then, after 50 minutes or so, just like that, the tour was over. And you could wonder how much there is to tell about ostriches, but 50 minutes is really, really short.
Well, this was kind of a short tour.
Yeah, it was. I had high hopes for it, and it was interesting, but I don't know if it was worth 140 rand. On the other hand, it's just a couple of euros, a couple of dollars.
But it does feel like a ripoff.
But it does feel like a little ripoff. Luckily for us, we had another plan to learn about them.
Do you have a preference?
Ostrich. Still deciding in which form.
We didn't really want to go for the typical ostrich steak, so what are we having?
I am having, I have to check, sweet potato stuffed with cream, baby spinach and topped with grilled ostrich meat. And you are having the wrap with cheese, I think, some tomato and also ostrich. This place we can really recommend, and we will leave a link in the description.
And ostrich meat isn't just delicious, it's also very healthy. It's high on protein and low on fat. It's also more eco-friendly than the production of beef. And it's also more animal-friendly because ostriches get a lot more space to roam around than cows.
And they don't only produce meat, they also produce the feathers, the skin, they keep it to make leather from it, and the eggs for decoration.
And what I also find really interesting, to talk about something completely different again, is epic roads. There is the Panamerica in Latin America, there's the Route du Soleil in France, there's the Route 66 in the USA, and right here at Outtakes is the Route 62, which would take us all the way through the little Karoo. That smells like a road trip, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe we should just switch from beef to ostrich altogether.
Oh yeah, good idea, because it's really, really good. I really like it.
If it was as available as beef, I would definitely be up for it.
Yeah.
Anyway, we started our journey on the Route 62.
Mm-hmm.
Once again, we are in a completely different type of landscape. This is almost desert. And I'm not really sure why it is, but seeing from the surrounding mountains, it is like a sort of plateau or a valley in a mountain range. This whole area is called the Little Karoo, by the way, and the Route 62 will take us straight through it. We didn't just come to the Route 62 for the beautiful landscapes or the cozy guest houses or the really hot weather, but also because the area is called the largest wine route in the world. Now, I gotta tell you, here in South Africa they have a tendency of calling things the biggest, the largest, the smallest, the tallest, so we're never really sure if it's actually true. But there's only one way to find out. This town is Calitzdorp, and the reason why we decided to visit a winery, especially here, is because there are a number of wineries inside the town, so you can actually walk to them. That is something that doesn't really happen a lot in South Africa, but it does mean that Linz can also drink. By the way, this area is mostly known for its port wines, and I gotta say, we're not really big fans of port, so this wine tour is obviously only for educational purposes. The winery is on the other side of the road.
Yeah, I was just interested what this was, the Ring of Stones. And apparently it's a symbol to celebrate the circle of life. And this one is the first circle of stones in Africa. Okay. Yes, and the sparkling.
This is how I like to order drinks, all at once.
So how this wine tasting works is they give you a list with all the wines they have, and you can choose 5 wines from that list and one like a gin or a whiskey or a port or something. So my first wine I chose was the sparkling Pinot Noir Bru.
And do you like it?
Let's try. Not a bad start of the tasting.
The good news is that not all their wines are port wines. So we actually got a couple of very good ones. But I did choose one port wine, and you can now
Witness it.
witness how I enjoy it.
Drum roll.
It's way too sweet for me.
Can I try?
Sure.
Oh no, it's like sugar water.
Tastes can change over years, but apparently our taste for port has not. I knew from before that South Africa is a big producer of wine, but I had no idea that they also produce spirits, and especially gin seems to be very popular here, so we have to try that as well.
Yeah, but don't drink it pure, eh? You have to add this.
First gonna try pure, then I'm gonna try with tonic.
Ooh.
That's strong.
Now try again.
It's much better. And I'm not really a gin person either. Do you want to do another wine tasting?
Duh, I'm not driving, so yes.
Yesterday I looked on TripAdvisor for the best attractions in Calitzdorp, and 9 of the 10 things that came up were wine tasting. So I guess it's just the thing you have to do when you're in this town. We're gonna stop filming here because it would probably not make very good video to see us slowly get drunk.
Or maybe it does.
Or maybe it would, but we're gonna stop
If you
filming
want to
anyway.
see us getting drunk in our next video, just leave it in the comments and we will happily do it for you.
Anyway, we're gonna be responsible here today because tomorrow we have a long drive ahead of us. It is going to be a very hot day today, and because of the heat, we did not have the best night of sleep. So before we hit the road, we're gonna try to wake up. I don't think that there's a better way to wake up than this.
Oh no.
This place is called Calitzdorp Country House, by the way, and it's not a naturist resort. But the owner has little to no problems with nudity, so if all the guests are fine that you swim naked, it's okay to swim naked. Alright, now I think we are really ready to hit the road. Today we're gonna cover most of the Route 62, so it's gonna be a bit of an inside the car day, which is not such a bad thing because we have air conditioning. And of course we hope that we can find some nice place to stop along the way. Are you still tired?
No, absolutely not. It was the best way to wake up after coffee.
I hope that we're able to capture some of the views here because it's absolutely magnificent. And once again, it's such a different view than anywhere else in South Africa. This is probably what I like the most, or one of the things that I like the most about this country is that you just go to another area and it looks completely different than anywhere else in the country. Some people have told us about the beautiful landscape or about the Western style villages or about the many wineries, but the one place where everybody said we had to stop is Ronnie's sex shop. This place has a really interesting history. It used to be a regular roadside shop called Ronnie's shop, but then some funny person wrote sex next to it. And the next thing that happened is that this place became really famous in the area. Today it's not a shop anymore, but it's a bar, and it's probably one of the most popular bars or most well-known bars in all of South Africa. Let's have a look inside. So did you leave your bra?
If you don't wear a bra, it's impossible to leave it here. But I did left our footprints here. If you ever visit Ronnie's sex shop and you find our signature, please send us pictures. That would be awesome.
We arrived in Montagu, the end of the Route 62, which means that I can rightfully put my Route 62 sticker on my computer. It's really too hot to do anything active for the rest of the day, so I guess that we'll just have a wine and figure out what we're gonna do tomorrow. I've mentioned earlier in this video that here in South Africa a lot of things are the largest, the shortest, the biggest, the smallest, and I got a bit the feeling that they have a missed opportunity here. The Lover's Walk is a hiking trail of only 500 meters, so it could get some record, I guess. But it's good for a morning walk. Okay, this is it. We can check this off our bucket list. So what are we gonna do now?
You have the map.
There is a historical walk in town. Maybe we can do that. I don't think we've done this before in South Africa.
Check.
This does mean that we have to hike the whole Lover's Walk trail back again. We made a quick stop on our Airbnb because somebody was a little bit overdressed for this heat.
The weather forecast was wrong.
I gotta admit that on days like this, I wish that a man wearing a dress was a little bit more socially accepted. The reason why we haven't been talking much about architecture in South Africa is simply because in most urban regions it's not really a very good idea to walk around with a camera. But I have the idea that here in Montagu it's slightly better. It's a much smaller village, much more relaxed, and they do have some beautiful examples of architecture. The guidebooks and the info brochures call the style colonial or even Art Deco. I don't really know much about that, but for me it's just really interesting to see what happens when Dutch and British and Portuguese cultures are just put together in a country in Africa. But what I probably find the most interesting of these buildings is the roofs. They build these beautiful large mansions and then they put a metal roof on it. Maybe this is because we are Europeans and we are used to all kinds of beautiful roofs, but it makes buildings look so cheap. But yeah, then again, those are also cultural differences. And that is all I have to say about that.
That's all I have to say about that.
And meanwhile it just keeps getting hotter and hotter. Our plan for this afternoon was to have a hike in the surrounding mountains, but that is not going to happen.
No way.
But the heat is also good news, because our next stop is another naturist destination. But that's something for our next video. So if you don't want to miss that,
You know what to do. Subscribe to our channel, put on your notifications, and if you like this video, please give us a big fat thumbs up, and we just see you in our next video.
bye!
And then they took us to the ostriches. And then they took us to the ostrich. And then they took us to the ostrich.
This is gonna be another bloopers at the end.
Ostriches.
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 And what I also like really...
That's a blooper for you.
Maybe we should just switch from beef to ostrich altogether.
Oh. Good idea.